Hello, comrades. We do the revolution, yes? In Soviet Russia, body squeezers squeeze themselves. Well, all jokes aside, welcome. I'm still alive. We're gonna be doing Crafting 101 for this new event, which is what, number 4 now, since we had a permanent update. So, yeah, that's fun. So this will be for the new event, Squeezer Revolution. As you can tell from the look of it, it's giving off a USSR kind of it's communist slight kind of word. But honestly, you probably see my other parts in the future, but if it's like right now, November, quick things to say. I'm going to be doing catching up, hopefully, because by the end of the year I'm hoping to get caught up by now, and so be on the lookout for that. I'll be focusing my attention on the Goosebumps stuff, so more content to come now. But that's not what you're interested in. Oh, no. You're interested in to know how you can get this beauty, this blob of purple peanut butter jelly on top of the iconic Russian building. Yes, you're interested in how to get the Squeezer Victory Palace. Well, this is what this video is here for you. So, without further delay, let's take a look at what is required in order to get such a beauty in this remark. So as we can see here, we are now looking at, I'm assuming, a crashed spaceship, as much as you would like to serve. But before we continue, let's go ahead and take a look at what is required. As you can see right now, I got the plane parts, question mark. These are probably the easiest things you're going to get, so I'm going to talk more about that later, and that's not important. The main 2-3 things you'll need to focus your attention on are going to be the photographic evidence, which I guess is a renew version of from last year's thing that I'm trying to remember what it was. You got the Doestengulator 3000. No point in calling it the Annihilator. Natar. Whatever. And then we got 9 baby squeezers. Because babies now. Yes, because this time the squeezers are back, but this time babies. I'm gonna have so much fun when I'm doing this part, but okay, let's get into serious for a minute. So let's talk about each part of these here and now. So first of all, let's talk about the plane parts question mark. These are going to be items that you can get normally through people to do quests. From what I see from most of the people here, you can get them for about 25 minutes. Some premium characters drop more than them. So these are going to be items you can use very often. I believe there are some... let me just see here real quick to see from my notes. Yeah, there are some things here that you'll need those parts for. The main one, by the looks of it, seems like you're going to be needing the air blower as well as the just for the air blower. So yeah, but let's go ahead and look at how to get the baby. Okay, so here's baby right here, baby squeezers in the Squeeze Revolution HQ. For some reason it's right here, I don't know. So yeah, for the baby squeezers you need 2 items. Or 3, I should say. One of them is the strange looking eggs. You'll need that for the alien meteorite. You need Grandma's secret ingredient, which you'll need to play the Squeezer hatchery scene in order to get this. And last but not least, you'll need a garden hose. And only one character actually drops this. Otherwise, you're going to have to play flip a coin. I'll explain more about it later, but let's go ahead and talk about these 2 things right here. So, the Grandma's secret ingredient is going to be this new event area here. Now, I was kind of dumb. This is recording from the things I'm recording before. But as you can see, these monsters is resting, unfortunately. These, they all take 3 hours, so use that to caution. But, so I can't really show you the technical, like, clicking on stuff. But what I will say is that the new monster here, which I'll talk a little bit about later, both of these characters, them and Fleishman, well, Fleishman's still the same price as he was before, but Grandma is now meeting up with Fleishman with $500 price tier. Now, that is expensive, and it is. They do drop some valuable items for this event, but here's the key information that actually I think is why they're worth 500. As you can see, if you were to get these three characters here, they cost 30, 60, 90, which means you need to spend at least 120 of this event currency, which is stamps, in order to have them go on lease. So you have 30%. Or, with, for example, in the Squeezer Hatchery, you have Grandma here for 70%. Alright? So yeah, and then she's for free, so, you know. But, let's do some math here. This 30 for 70 is 100%. So if you were to get, to spend 120 120 stamps, plus have Grandma or Fleishman, you will guarantee get this item, and you need at least 9 each from each of these. So it's very plausible to do if you have these characters. If you don't, then it's going to be a bit of a grind because of the threes. You can tell this is where their motives are trying to get you to spend dough. But again, I won't go too much in depth with it because of other things, but you know, that'll come with the commentary. But here's this all you need to know for here. So if you both have these two characters, although they're worth $500, maybe this video might convince you to have them, but we'll see. We will see. But yeah, after you get all of those things, you will need the garden hose. Now, there are only 2 other characters who can actually do that for you, unfortunately. Wrong button. We'll go to our favorite, Mr. Useless. Yeah, there he is. Mr. Useless. Taking a bath for 2 hours will get you a gardening hose. Now, this is the only character that can actually do this, by the way. So you'll need a fountain, which is cheap. It'll give you 12 stamps, but necessarily you're looking at, you know, you need to do this at least 3 times, so that's 6 hours. Or, in this case, you're gonna need, I should have done this easier way, but whatever. Here we go. The flower garden. This will drop every 2 hours, will drop either vanilla or the garden hose. And it's not that expensive. And here's the other thing too I want to point out. All the items here are, like, all these items that drop stuff, none of them are with premium currency. The only one that's premium is like for $15 and it's a decoration piece. So again, you could in theory grind to get some of this stuff, and all these items are not as expensive except for the golden platinum thing over here for 200,000 coins. But you know, I have so much money now. What a difference. A year ago, this was so hard to achieve, but now it's like, nah, that's easy. I just drop it. There you go. Man, what a difference it's been. Anyways, enough rambling. Let's talk about the next thing we need to grab. So we got these two all together. So now, you might be wondering where these 2 items are. Well, for the first time in a long time, these other 2 items are going to be at the Mini Mysteries Club. Yeah, remember this place? Yeah, it exists. So here we go. Here they are. So in order to do the Donator 3000, which you'll need, I believe it was, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. It's about, yeah, so it's about 9 each. So to do the Donator 3000, you'll need a few things. First, you'll need the air blower, which is up above it. You'll need Grandma's cookie dough, which I'll explain in a bit, and then you'll need nuts and bolts, right? So you'll need the cookie dough, which is got to be at the Squeeze Revolution corner, which I'll have to go back again. Don't worry. And then you have the air blower, which you'll need the hose, the portable fans, and then of course the item I talked about, the plane parts, question mark, exclamation point. So you need 9 of these. So I think for mostly the Dough Annihilator 3000 is going to be probably the hardest thing to get. If you already have both Granny and Mr. Fleshman, I think these two are going to be the most challenging to get. And as you can see here, the last thing you'll need is the photographic evidence. It corrupts every 5 hours. And what's interesting about this is you'll need the investigation files, which is ridiculously easy to grab. You'll need the photo roll, again, very easy to grab. You know, because literally you just need a, you know, paper and then 30 seconds and there you go. And there are characters that'll drop it, which I'll point out later on. I'm not going to go too much to the details with that. But here's something interesting too. This is the only hard part about this. Fredericks' camera. Right, and the reason why Fredericks' camera is a little bit difficult is because you'll need at least one of the electric transfusers, which is up here. If you don't have a premium character to drop it, then you need these items here, which, again, I can go much in depth with the characters per se that can drop this stuff. But, again, if you have the premium characters, you probably know. You have suspected photos, which is, again, you'll need it from Many Mysteries Club. So you can see how difficult it can be, right, with this type of stuff. And then you got the walkie-talkie here, right? And, yeah, to get Fredericks' camera is a pain because you need to craft that to craft this in order to craft this. Oh, yeah, and I guess that's... I like how easy that was, that I got the investigation files. But you want to know something very... What will make this so trivial and easy to get and do? I'll show you real quick, okay? And there's Grandma. Don't worry, I'm gonna talk about Grandma later. I always forget. Now, one of the events that a lot of people may have not liked, but better than the one that we had previously before. Oh, look, the magical assistant actually is the rabbit. That's interesting. So they've changed that bit. Compton Dawns. There he is. So he has a few items in particular. You know, he can make a real estate offer, which gives you a suspected photo, which is very, very nice and convenient. There's a business meeting. Yeah, that's very good part. It gives you parts, yeah. Market research for 3 hours. It gives you the imported flour, which is very important. But one of the more interesting things, if you've played the last event we had, which is the Horrorland Carnival, and you got your chance to get the tree for 8 hours and 20 minutes, you get one of Fredericks' cameras. Meaning, you can just put Compton into doing this, and you will be set for not having to deal with the camera bullshit. But that's just, that's just something to think about. But yeah, it gives you a bunch of stuff to work with. The unfortunate part is only the business meeting and market research will give you currency, so keep this in mind. But honestly, I would recommend, if you don't want to go through the pain of getting Fredericks' camera, if you don't have a lot of those already, have him do this. It'll make your life so much easier. You only need like one of these each, so you really need about 5 of these. And then you can have him just waste his time doing other stuff too. There's a quick look though. I don't know if it's actually back, but let me check to see if the tree is indeed back. Because this cost freemium currency, but before, when I bought it previously, it was actually worth a lot more. Yeah, that's interesting. Madame's Doom cabin actually costs 200 this time, so ooh, I didn't make that up. And ooh, 400 for the ghost train. Oh man, I'm discovering things. Oh, I didn't like that. Wow, you're learning some new stuff while I'm doing this. So yeah, that's interesting. Let's ignore that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to also look to make sure that there's no other hidden items before. I don't think there are, by the looks of it. I think all these are pretty much here, marked properly, unlike the other one that was there before. I'm looking for the tree, though, because the tree at some point actually was with dollary dues. I'm trying to see where it is. It's like way up here, I think. It used to look like a basic tree, and then they kind of just changed it to look like what it is now. Let me just see here. I don't know if I don't think I passed it, but still, I don't. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't see it. Maybe I'm dumb. Let me just quickly go through here. I don't think I see it. Did they remove it? Oh, no. If they removed it, that's a bad sign. But, yeah, if you got this during the event, then you'd be set to do this. Or, you know, if you bought it previously for, like, a few bucks, then you'd be fine. But, yeah, by the looks of it, it's not in here right now. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. That's not good. Alright, well, that's a problem. Maybe, I'm hoping, later on they'll actually fix that and put this item here. Unless it's a one-time use. And oh, hold on. If it's a one-time... No, it's not. What am I doing? No, it's not. It's just the training stuff that's there. Okay. Alright, well, now we know. So, if you were lucky enough to get it, then that will make your life easier. If not, then hopefully this thing will help you now. So, let's talk about how to get the dough. Go all the way over here. So, in order to get this dough, you'll need 5 of the chocolate chips, 2 of the unremarkable dough, which is down here below, and you need Grandma's secret recipe. So in order to make the unremarkable dough, you need butter, the flour, and the vanilla. And you might be wondering down here, you're looking at this and going like, oh look, Agent Radar. This, as far as I can see, is not needed at all for getting this grand prize. So don't worry too much about it. However, I have a feeling that you are going to need to make this at some point during the quest, so keep this in mind. Usually that's what they tend to do, so yeah. Or just keep that in the back of your mind. I think it about shows off all the items in question you need to do, but let's quickly just look over the buildings per se, because they're very quick and easy. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is for the alien meteorite, you'll need at least 150-ish, 100 and something in order to put this guy down. It is nice to see that we get a previous event item back, so that's nice. I was wondering if we were going to get this in a pack, or, you know, if we're going to get this normally. But they also changed it to 90% power to actually being, like, accurate, but whatever. So the only useful item, if you call it useful, quote-unquote, is this thing, the watchtower. For every 19 minutes, it drops in one of the investigation folders. Like you've seen there, the investigation folders is needed for the items up above. You don't really need it, but it's there. The main buildings you'll probably need, though, are going to be from here. And that is the Cindy's Cake Shop, the Flower Garden, and Otto's Odds and Ends, which are all like 4-hour, 3-hour, 2-hour kind of deal. Like, I did it in the wrong order, but you get the idea. And it's always random, so the Flower Garden is a 50-50. The other two is basically a 3.33 to get what you want, so there's that. But there are certain characters that can actually drop you some useful stuff, so why don't we go ahead and talk about the actual characters that are useful, shall we? So let's talk about characters that are actually can get you some event currency. The first one's going to be Dustin. So he has a few quests. One of them is Examine Crash Site, and the other one here, which is very long, is Wait for Grandma for 8 hours. He does drop the Grandma's secret recipe, which is needed for the dough. But this is something new that they actually are starting to have these characters go for longer quests. Now I'm gonna have Dustin do the examine the crash site, not because I need him to, but it's part of a quest, so I'm gonna have him to. Dustin and Lucy both have similar quests in length and hours. The difference is with Lucy is that she has a field do a field report for 4 minutes to get the investigation stuff. But as you can see here, she waits for Grandma, and this time she watches the skies. But the same kind of limit of time and the same item she drops. So there's that you can use. So that's kind of interesting. Also, I gotta love the fact that you have to put 4 of these things down, but that's neither here or there. So yeah, let's just have her watch the skies for now because easy convenience. Mr. Mortman is useful. He's only useful for one item in particular, and that is... Okay, well, he can water bushes, but really, you're going to have to put him for Shop for Vanilla for 8 hours. I believe Hay and another character is the only ones who actually drop that, so keep this in mind. Let's go ahead and look at another useful character, which is Sam, which is a character that was presented last year during the Haunted Halloween and came back this year as part with Mr. Wood. The one item he's useful, or he's too useful for 2 items. Both of them for 4 hours. And it's either he can dance happy or he can stay at home. One of them gives you nuts and bolts. The other one gives you a fan. Both of these will be needed for the 3,000 dough thing. So either or, doesn't matter. Have them do whatever. Next useful character is, if you were lucky enough to play the last event, you would have gotten Jonathan Chiller. Unfortunately, as of right now, he is not available in the past like the other characters were. So that's kind of a downer. But as you can see, he has a lot of items here that's useful. Weirdly enough, now that I've discovered it, Real Ghost Train for $100 just for a 25-minute quest that gives you plane parts is kind of dumb. Don't you agree? But that's neither here or there. That's just my observation from looking at this. He gives you Chiller Jants, which gives you flour. For some reason, his reading his fortune quest does give you the stamps, but it also gives you photo reels, which... Normally, when it comes to quests like these, they don't really do that, but this one does. He does hand out carnival flyers, which is chocolate chips. He plays with his figures. He gives you 3 of the nuts and bolts, which is very useful. And another useful item he does is the laughing maniacally gives you the unremarkable dough. So that'll kill 1 step ahead. So instead of having to deal with crafting the dough, you have the dough already. So there you go. I'm gonna have him do playing with his toys. Give me lots of the nuts and bolts. They'll make it very useful. Very convenient. The next character that is useful for dropping event currency is Eric. Eric has a few quests. He can inform enemy presence, parade the neighborhood. But the 2 or 3, I should say, that are useful here for us is going to be listen to alien activity for 4 hours. It gives you the trash can lid. You don't really need this except for that one item in particular. I don't see it in the other ones, so think about that as you will. Watches the skies for 4 hours, and he does examine crash site, which we'll need a tree for. So we'll just have him examine crash site for now to make it later on. I'll make it easy for me. Let's see what else is here. Amazo is another useful character. So if you played the first event of this whole game, or if you played the Easter event this year, you would have gotten your chance to get Amazo. He only does 1 quest, and that is perform the Chinese ring trick for 4 hours for nuts and bolts. So there's a no-brainer what you're going to assign him to do there. Another useful character is actually the magical assistant, aka the real Amazo, which was introduced this year. And she has a few. She can do magic illusions, but like Amazo, there's only one quest that feels obvious for having her to do, which is, or him to do, is feed the rabbit for chocolates. I'm hoping those are chocolates and not something else, but I'll leave it there. Okay, the next character is somebody who's coming up. Something that's coming up is Christmas, so why not talk with Claus or Chris? He does give you some items like drink coffee that gives you the chemical Y, but he does two items in particular that we're interested in. One of them is dressed like Santa, which gives you the butter, or for 4 hours he'll give you the nuts and bolts by fixing his base. So I'm going to have him dressed like Santa because it's a really nice animation quest there. And of course, we're now going to talk about the two main characters that are very useful. Let's talk about Mr. Fleshman. Mr. Fleshman, all of his quests will give you some stuff. One of them is pick up insects for an hour, gives you 3 of the plane parts, will make it easy. Reading a newspaper for 3 hours gives you chocolate chips. The taking the bath I talked about with the garden hose. Change the car tire will gives you butter for 3 hours, which is kind of dumb. And listen to countries for 4 hours for a trash can lid. For the trash can lid. If you have him, go for the garden hose because it'll make your life a little easier because he's the only one who can actually do that. And last but not least, let's talk about the next character that actually drops currency. Good old Grandma. Or Granny. So, there are a few things she can do. One of them is listen for alien activity, which gives you the agent radar, which is kind of dumb. Like, well, not dumb. I mean, I guess if it's like, oh, you need agent radar, so now you have this item, so it's like, oh yeah, have Grandma just listen to alien activity for 8 hours. Grandma can then write recipes. We'll give you Grandma's secret recipes. It's a lot shorter compared to Dustin's and Lucy's quests, so keep this in mind. However, I would say for Dustin and Lucy that if you're going to bed or going to work and won't be there for 8 hours or a long period of time, have them do that so it makes it easier for you. Write a fake letter. We'll give you vanilla for 2 hours, and then again, like I think it was one of the other characters. I think it was Fleishman. Act mysterious for 25 minutes will give you 3 of the plane parts. So again, very useful, the craft for those items there. And honestly, that's it for characters that actually drop the currencies for this event. There are characters that are useful for this event that do not drop currency, depending on how level you are. Slappy, for instance, can give you, it gives a ventriloquist show, or look like a dummy, which will give you the investigation file, 2 of them, or walkie-talkie. The Mar, petting her pet, will give you chemical Y. Then you get to Brooke, who shoots birds and reveals photos for about 25 minutes each. We'll give you a photo film and a chemical Y. Dr. Brewer gives you 2 items for working in the lab and taking photos, just like Brooke can give you chemical Y and photos film. Marty can give you investigation files for 4 minutes for sealing records. So again, another character can do. A premium character, Sharon, she can do a few things. For a longboard, 4 minutes gives you investigation file. Having her train for 24 minutes will give you chemical Y. Taking photos, 22 minutes will give you photo film. And hockey, 28 will give you walkie-talkies. So, out of curiosity, I'm going to do the taking photos because I think I haven't seen her do that at all on record. So, let me just... I think I have. I think I've recorded this, but, you know, I usually forget things. So, let's just have that there. Alright, so let's go back to the fortune teller here. The next character, Dr. Fredericks. He will be able to test the camera, gives you photo film. Chuck here does his Annihilator 4000. He'll give you walkie-talkies. The mayor herself, she could do 2 things. She could does inauguration that gives you the photo film. However, it is requiring premium statue, so not really worth it. but she can do a call. They'll give you a walkie-talkie, which is needed. Again, I'm not really going for the other smaller bits. I'm just giving you some suggestions that you can do here. The policewoman does a break. That gives you Chemical Y. Andrew Carr, premium character, can only do Furrow Ghost Cat, gives you photos. The firefighter, by breaking into or opening a prop, the door thing, gives you a walkie-talkie, and then having a break under a tree gives you Chemical Y. Where is John? It's about here. I don't know if I guess I passed him. Give me a sec. Let me try to find Jordan. There he is, Jordan. Jordan, he, for a science project, gives you Chemical Y. Professor Shock, right here. He has two you can do. One of them is a walkie-talkie, and if you do have them, to do an electric skeleton for 4 hours, 50 minutes gives you an electronic French fuser. So, there is that. Cynthia, it can do a few things. She can charge her battery for 14 hours, 30 minutes for just 2 of the electrons. She can scan the neighborhood for the suspect photos, for 2 of them, for 4 hours, 30 minutes. So, if anything, I'd suggest you do that. If you really need the electrons, then maybe, but I don't know. And then, of course, she could pretend to be a normal kid for walkie-talkie. So, there you go. Theo, the only useful thing I see from him is that he can do a jumping animation with the trampoline, gives you photo films. Yvonne, the character from last year. No, wrong. I did not want to know where she was. I did not want to know what the Masked Mutant one. I was just looking at Yvonne. But that's interesting. I just click on Yvonne and then they'll take me right to her rather than just picking on her to select. So that's interesting. So Yvonne here. She does a few things. She can spare parts, gives you Chemical Y, or if you give you Electron for about 5 hours by turning into a bat. So there's that. And I believe there's a few more. There is Sarah. Sarah. You only got her from the Haunted Halloween. It looked like she was previously available for last year's Halloween event, but I didn't see it, so there it is. She only gives you walkie-talkie, so there's nothing really more value in there, but it's worth noting. Courtney King, I did not want Doggy. There you go, Courtney King. She could do 2 things. She can search, gives you the files for 4 minutes. And then taking photos will give you about the photo reels. That'll be useful. That's about it, really. That's much about it, I believe. So, just looking back to this, I feel like the plain parts is going to be very easy to do because these characters just drop them like candy. You do need them, yes, for the dough gun, but honestly, it doesn't need a whole lot. And as you can see right here, I have double the amount, and I'm not even doing anything. The photographic evidence, if you do have content, it will make it really easy to get because all you need is the simple little items, which is very easy to craft. So again, very nice to have that happen. The Donator 3000 I think will be the hardest one to get just because of the items required. You need you need items to craft 2 items, which is needed for this thing. And the Alien Baby Squeezer, I feel like is easier if you have both. If you have both Fleishman and Granny, this will be extremely easy to grab. Because all you need is about 9 of their spawn stuff, and then that's it. And then you don't need to use the spawns anymore, except if you want to craft or sell for tickets. But again, from what I can see here, there's a lot of time to go for. So I really don't feel like this is going to be a huge deal breaker. I really think this event is going to be extremely easy to pull off for some players, so I think, honestly, in my personal opinion, I think compared to the last event we have, this one is going to be very achievable to do. I will find out during the playthrough as well as the review to see if this correction is wrong. But now you're interested to know, when will this end? According to the time here, from what is being counted down for 26 days, that will leave us at Monday, December 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, last video of the Crafting 101, I was wrong. It didn't end at 8, it ended at 7, because, stupid me, I forgot we were doing daylight savings. So, whoops, my bad. It ended an hour earlier. Technically not, but, you know, live and let learn. But yeah, best of luck to you guys to do this. I think it's plausible. If you've played through this game long enough, it's easy. If you're new to the game, I feel like this will be somewhat of a challenge, especially the fact that it's like you both need the new alien characters, well, one old, one new. So consider that as you will. I do like the art style from it, and there's more to come, needless to say. So sorry for the lateness of this. I hope things will go well for you guys, and hope to see you soon in the next video. If you do like this, consider subscribing and looking very soon. Anyways, that's about me right now, so have a good night, and I will be seeing you in the part 2 or whenever comes next after this. So, bye-bye.